Hi there, this is the decision entry pages for Glo-Bus Step 4 Marketing, the most complicated of them all. So the couple first steps for marketing is I don't want to create an image that is too low. I want to be close to the investor expectations, or I want to be really high in the very last round. I also want to make sure that my factory size is out of the way and I'm not too far away with some bizarre numbers in price. So really, here I want to make sure that I have a PQ that's fixed, done my product design, and I want an image rating that isn't too far off this investor expectation. And then I want to look at the compensation and facilities to make sure that I've maximized that temporarily so that I don't have I'm not in any risk of any shortfalls, because that will affect your decisions as you change things on the marketing page for your earnings per share. So the next thing we look at is these are the competitive assumptions of what we feel like the industry is going to do in the next year. And we've got to set those in stone so that we have some basis as to compare our decisions against. And we're going to change each one of these decisions for looking at two different things. We're going to look at earnings per share, and we're going to also look at market share a little bit at the same time. So the easy marketing decisions are sales promotion and warranty period on this page. Sales promotions, you can increase and decrease the sales promotions, and it will affect the market share. But what we're really trying to get at is the best earnings per share for this. So I could go with 25% here, or I could go with 26%. Now, if I notice, my 25% and my 26% gives me the same earnings per share, and yet the 26% gives me a little bit higher market share, as you can see there. And so if I can get something for nothing, meaning my earnings per share doesn't decrease, and I can still get a little bit more market share, that's what I want to go with. So of those two selections, I want to go with the 26% because it gives me something for nothing compared to the 25%. And then warranty period, I don't want to have that be too much lower than the warranty period of the industry or too much higher than the warranty period of the industry. But what I'm actually trying to do is maximize my earnings per share. So let's cycle through the decisions here. We've got 60 days of $13.40 of earnings per share, and my market share is 12.7%. All right, what if I increase the warranty period? 90 days. Here I've got a little bit better earnings per share. And if I go to 120, a little bit better, earnings per share of 180, or warranty of 180, earnings per share of 1355. So I'm looking at, there's probably the maximum earnings per share. Is it very far off the warranty period as it stands for the industry? No, it's not. So we'll be not too badly at a disadvantage. So that's the easy marketing decisions. Now, what I've done is I've created a little spreadsheet of being able to look at the relative advantage that I'm getting out of average price, website displays, search engine ads, and retailer recruitment. Now, if I want my competitive advantage to be 10%, or if I want my price, my marketing to be about 10% better than the competition. So if I wanted my retail price to be 10% better, I would say, okay, well, I want to be 10% better, all right, than the competition's price. You see this one, 293 is the 293, which is the price that the industry is expected to be at. And so if I'm 10% better, that means 10% less than the price that's there. So if I want to enter that number at 263.7, here I'm at 263 or 264. And that's 10% better than the industry. And say I want to compare that With website displays, I want to be maybe 10% better than the industry. So that would be adding to the website displays. See, that's 10% better, 4,400. So I can enter in website displays 4,405 and so on. Here we've got these other metrics and this one as well. So here I've got search engine ads, or it might be something like advertising budget. All right, and my advertising budget, I want to test out 855, 85, 55, and my retailer support budget, I'm looking to go for $8.69. So I can decrease that to approximately where we are for that. So this is where my marketing and my price are about 10% better than the competition. And what I do is I write down and I do that for each one of these areas. We're just going to do it for North America for the interest of time. And then I write down my earnings per share for that test. So what is that test going to be? It's 13.54. And then if I say, oh, well, actually, I want to be 20% better, or let's try 40% better. All right, so then I take a look at here. I want the column to be the same, and I would like the row to be the same, and I'll drag that down. All right. So I'll enter those numbers, and then I'll get an EPS in this box. And by doing this, I develop kind of a curve of earnings per share compared to how much better I am in terms of competition. And so that's what this step is all about, is figuring out what does that curve look like and where do I want to be on that curve. Well, I want to be at the optimal point for the optimal earnings per share. And how am I going to do that? Well, I take a look at this and I go 175 and my retailer support. I'm looking at, or ad budget, I'm looking at 10,888. 9. I look at website displays, 5607. Now there's a maximum for website displays, so I can only go to 5,000, so it's a little bit less than 40%. And I'm not too worried about that. And then retailer recruitment, I'm going for an 11.6. And so I need to increase that by a bunch, and I can just use the arrow keys to get up near to what that is. And if I look at the earnings per share, I've got a 13.64 earnings per share. Now, none of these curves that you're going to develop are linear. A lot of them are like an inverted U shape, and then you end up being at the top point there. So that is how you do each one of these, and you find the best price and best marketing. The final step that you do is you again optimize the easy marketing decisions. And because there's a bunch of Easter eggs in here, so sometimes you're going to do all the changes that you do to the rest of the values, and you're going to find differences in your um, in your other metrics. In this case, we don't find any of those that are too different. And the final thing that you can do is take a look at each one of these, move them up just a little bit and down just a little bit, and you'll find a bit of a sweet spot. As you can see, I'm looking at my earnings per share. My earnings per share, I'm changing or it changes as I change the advertising budget. And at some point, it jumps up, and where it jumps up is a bit of an anomaly where I can sit back and if the market is convenient to that, I can get a little bit better earnings per share. I hope this helps for marketing. It is a complex decision-making process, a bit of a complex process, but you'll benefit from the work. Later on decisions, they're a little bit easier to do, a little bit more straightforward. But if I promise you, if you put in the time and effort for the marketing pages, you'll be well rewarded.